Right, yeah, I think this must be Jesse's channel, The Fallen State. I thought it was like just a clip channel that someone had made, but I guess it must be theirs. Um, but yeah, this is another. It's not a compilation; it's a highlight. This one is him debating a college dean, which that's like the head, is it? The dean. But yeah, it's we used to be slaves. That's it. Not we were slaves. We used to be slaves. Let's go.
Our religious heritage is rooted in the regrettable experience of slavery.
You used to be a slave.
Yes, we used to be slaves.
You were a slave at one time.
No, I was not. I know. I was never. I was born. I was born in the 1950s. So slavery was long gone by
Right.
then. But I still experience the legacy of slavery
How?
and the
In what way?
legacy of discrimination.
In what way?
When I experience barriers that exist simply because of the color of my skin, those barriers are still real and they still exist.
So how did you get to APU and do all that, be the dean and do all that if Bear was in your way?
Yeah, that's amazing, isn't it? It's a miracle. That's a miracle.
Is it possible because they were not there? At least not from the white folks.
That who was not there?
Bears were not there. It was all in your mind. It's not real.
Oh no, the barriers were there. The barriers are there even now. Even though I am associate dean and professor of New Testament, there's still some real barriers
That's insane.
that you deal with.
When will black people know that they are not there anymore? What do white people have to do to say, okay, blacks, we gave y'all everything. Do you want the land? You want the land, then you'll be done?
You know, we'll know that these barriers are no longer there when we finally become fully human.
And how are you going to do that by taking
in the eyes,
by the eyes of what?
in the eyes of white people?
So if white people just say to the black,
Why would that matter? One, white people don't see you. I don't look at a black person and never have I ever thought that they are not a human being. But even if that's true, what would that like say if a black person there's some black like extreme black people, militant black people that think like I had some guys a black guy say white people was aliens. Actually not a bad theory. But said that you're not actually human. But it doesn't affect me in any way. What you think of me does not affect me in any way. Like that. Why would that matter? And also at the beginning that he said about black people got religion from slavery. I'm guessing I don't know. I'm guessing he means Christianity. Christianity isn't a white religion. It's being held as that, but it's not. The Ethiopian Bible is is older than the European Bible. The Ethiopian Bible as well is not as they just took all the books. It's not as like the Book of Enoch. Like, all the books are involved in the Ethiopian Bible, whereas the Europeans was a bit more from what they can actually verify back to source and things like that. But if you look at the Book of Enoch is very very big in the Ethiopian Bible. But that side, it was in Africa. The Bible was in Africa way before it was in Europe. So this whole that Christianity is a white man's religion is so wrong. That is so wrong. But anyway, let's carry on. And also, it doesn't matter if there's a black person of. I don't understand why. Even if I did think that black people weren't human, what does that? How would that? And why would that be the moment? Why is your um? Why is your existence in the world determined by someone else? That is weakness. It's the same thing with the transgender thing. Why, if you believe, I don't need anybody to believe I'm a man. Why? Because I'm a man. I've never needed anybody to confirm it or I go hurt myself. It's like, because I am that thing. Anyway, let's carry on.
y'all human, would you be satisfied?
No, it takes more than that. It takes more than that.
What else you want?
For one thing, it takes getting the knees off of our necks. for
What
one
do you
thing.
mean by that?
What I mean by that is the end of things like racialized police brutality. When those kind of things disappear, when a young woman can be sitting in her house and not worry about police officers busting the door down.
Who that?
And
Do you know what black women and black children have actually a lot more chance of happening than a black person, a white cop kicking their door in? A stray bullet from a gang going through the window and killing. It happens. Look it up. Look up how many black children and black women have died from stray bullets of gangs. Patrice O'Neill has a joke. When white people want to kill someone, it's like, I'm going to kill you and I'm going to do some creepy shit and dissect you to pieces. He's like, how black people kill people is, I'm going to kill you but accidentally shoot your grandma. Like, that is more of a danger to black people than a cop kicking your door in. Moron.
shooting her to death.
Who are you referring to?
Breonna Taylor.
Oh, that Taylor girl.
Or-
Did you know she was
or-
dealing
or
with drug
George
dealers?
Floyd.
And
It doesn't matter what
and did
people
you
think
know
she was
that
dealing.
she was-
It doesn't matter
it
what
doesn't
she
matter.
what she was dealing with.
Also, if you look up the Brianna, I looked up the Brianna thing. Like, the first part of it was that her boyfriend was shooting at the cops. That's why she got shot, because they returned fire. You can't shoot at cops.
it doesn't matter that she rented a car where a murder or something
nobody
took place.
is going to walk into the house of a white woman and shoot her dead.
They didn't do that.
They didn't do what?
They knocked before they went in. The boyfriend or maybe even her shot at the cops.
No.
They didn't just walk in.
No, they busted the door down.
No, but they
And
didn't just
and they
walk. It
came
was
in.
a knock, and then they went
They
in.
did not identify themselves as police
not true.
officers. The young man
No,
thought that
that's not
some other
true.
group was breaking in. He shot in
You
self-defense.
mean the drug dealer?
They returned fire,
When you
and
say
they
young
killed an
man-
innocent woman.
When you say the young man, are you referring to the drug dealer?
So he literally just excused what the boyfriend's whole part of that. He just excused that bit as if that bit is an inconsequential thing, because he thought that the police was another group of boys that was coming in. So he shot, they shot back. What do you think police are going to do when you shoot at them? They're not going to let you kill them.
Where?
No, I'm referring to a boyfriend.
The
I
drug
don't know.
dealer.
I don't know anything about his background. All I know is that there's no justification for this string of killings of black men and black
By black
women
people?
for no reason except to make a mistake.
Even if they're drug dealers, pushing drugs, criminals, and all that,
Well,
they don't bring that up on
okay,
themselves.
okay.
As a preacher, hold on. Do they bring that upon themselves by the way they live?
Well, white people seem to escape
That's
that.
not what I'm asking you.
You know, and
Do
they
they
and
bring that
there
upon
are
themselves?
white drug dealers, there are white gang members,
Do they
but
bring
yet
it-
you don't hear of killing after killing after killing of unarmed black men
That's not
and
true.
black women.
That's not true.
It is true.
No, it just
I mean,
means
that is the problem. That is what all the protests
But let me
are
ask-
about. The
let me ask.
protests are
Yeah,
not
because they've
about
been misinformed.
police engagement with criminals.
As a
The
preacher, I got to
protests-
ask you this.
Okay.
As a preacher, called by God, sitting in the room, reading the word when God called you. As a preacher, does it matter their lifestyle? Can they possibly bring this upon themselves by the way they live?
Lifestyle does not bring murder upon someone.
If you're a drug dealer or you're involved in drug dealing and you're doing criminal things, can you bring that upon yourself?
A lifestyle can lead to consequences.
So is it possible to tell a woman and whomever, Floyd or whatever his name was, brought that upon themselves based on their lifestyle? Is that possible?
No, not under these circumstances. It was racism that brought that consequence upon her.
Grifter.
Racism.
Do you believe that white people discriminate against blacks?
Yes.
Do you discriminate?
No.
You never discriminate.
No.
You don't discriminate.
I don't discriminate against anyone on the basis of race.
Do you
I
discriminate?
have been discriminated against on the basis of race.
So you do discriminate.
Everybody discriminates.
How about
for,
you?
For example,
How about
I
you?
prefer to eat chicken rather than pork. That's discrimination.
Do you discriminate?
Not on the basis of race.
Do you discriminate against other people?
Not on
So
on the basis of racial characteristics. That's what we're
So
talking
why
about.
did you marry a black woman instead of a white woman?
Because I fell in love with her.
But why do you fall in love with a white woman? You discriminated.
No, I fell in
you
love.
did.
I fell in love
You
with my
dated
wife.
a white woman before, right?
No, I never dated a white
Why
woman.
not?
Uh, that situation just never arose.
Because you
I
discriminate.
fell in love with somebody else.
Is being a white Christian different from being a black Christian?
Yes.
In what way?
Heritage.
What?
Heritage and experience.
And what do you mean by that?
Black people, even black Christians, have experienced a racial heritage and history in this country that white people have not experienced. In fact, white people have been responsible for
But
black
what
people
does that have to
experiencing
do? What
this
does that have
history
to
and
do
heritage.
with being born of God?
It has nothing to do with being born of God, because black people who are Christians are born of God also. But yet, despite the fact that they were Christian and born of God, they have been treated as subhumans.
I agree with you that the Arab did treat them that way because it's the black that sold
Arab?
them.
No,
It was the blacks that sold the Arab.
I'm talking about racial history in the Americas.
It was the blacks that sold the Arab. I mean, it was the blacks that sold other blacks to the Arabs over in Africa, Mummy Africa. Then they went and the Arabs sold the blacks around the world. I do agree with that. So they were treated cruelly for that reason.
Now you're blaming the victim. The legacy.
How are the Arabs the victim?
The legacy.
Who were the victim? The Arabs that bought them, or the blacks that sold them?
Chattel slavery and the Middle Passage are the responsibility of European and European Americans.
What the? There were black people who owned slaves here in this country.
No, there were
Yes, there were.
No, black people did not own slaves. Now
So you're really saying that?
Pretty sure the first slave owner in America was a black man. Pretty sure that's true.
White Christian is different than a black Christian.
Yes, I mean, Christianity does not occur in a cultural vacuum. All Christian expressions are cultural expressions of Christianity. There's no such thing as an absolute value neutral, culturally neutral Christianity. That is a myth. If you find a culturally neutral Christianity, that's just white Christianity pretending to be culturally neutral. All Christianity is some type. Huh?
Where you get all Christianity is what?
All Christianity is some type of cultural expression.
Where you get all this from?
It's history. It's history. It's study. You just read.
Do you love white people?
Yes, I do.
You love white people?
I love all people.
What?
That's what God teaches us to do.
Do you love white people?
You shall love everybody.
How
we do not have the luxury of hating anybody.
That's true. Do you love
Martin
white
Luther
people?
King Jr. taught that.
Martin
Luther King Jr. said, "I will not be."
Because of time, do you love white people?
Yes, I just answered that question.
Do you want your students to see themselves as black first or as a Christian first?
There is no distinction. How do you make that kind of distinction? They have to see themselves as who they are. And if they are Christians, their Christian, if they're black, their Christian identity is tied up in their black identity. Their black identity is tied up in their Christian identity. There is no separation of that. There is no neutral Christianity.
So do you want them to see themselves as black first or Christian first?
I want them to see themselves as human first. See themselves as human first, who happen to be black and Christian.
So Christian third?
No, it's all together. It's like Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Who's first? Father, Son, or Holy Ghost? No, those three are one.
Amazing. Thanks for watching.
To be honest, I kind of agree with what he said towards the end about black. I'd say like African American, Black America. You could argue in the West are arguably among the most Christian group of people. Like I watch a lot of black American reactors, even kind of not really religious, black people still won't really like, they don't like dissing Jesus, or they don't like blaspheming, and actually way more than I've seen any white person. Like you see it, but I think that's actually kind of because it's a bit like that in our country too, but different. But I'd say it's the same thing, really. I'd say that arguably black people in the West are among the most God-fearing. put it that way. That I have to give him that, and I have to give him because a lot of these black people with an opposite idea to Jesse, they literally cannot bring themselves to say they love white people. They cannot answer that. He said it straight up, yes, and it's true. I saw it was a Charlie Kirk thing, but someone brought up um, that the Bible condones slavery because it's basically says you should love your master like you love your God. And Charlie Kirk did go into what a master can be a teacher, it doesn't have to be a slave owner. But also, if you think about it, actually, if you hate someone, the hate actually eats you away, not the other way around. You can hate someone with every ounce of your being, doesn't actually affect them in any way whatsoever. So the Bible says it again is you can to say you love your master like you would love your God or whatever that quote is in the Bible, you can say it's a kind of a service for you, not the master. It doesn't mean you have to be happy with being a slave or how you're being treated or whatever. But if you hate that person, ultimately that's only going to ruin you. It's going to be a cancer that eats away at you, not the slave master. But yeah, his whole thing, like I can't believe how these people um go into talking about murders in the black community and never ever talk about gang violence. And I'm not talking criminal to criminal. That's a whole different ball game of murders. I'm talking like a little black girl or a little black boy in America sitting in their room playing computer game and a bullet comes through the window and kills them. Happens all the time, like so often, but it's never ever spoke about. Never spoke about in the news. Is like those black lives don't matter. Only when they're killed by white police do people seem to care. Like a black life only has value if they're killed by a white person. When actually, what is way more common, and but you even get rappers to say it. Boosie says it, and Boosie is as ghetto as you can possibly get. You can't get no more ghetto than little Boosie. But he says himself, it ain't the white man I fit. When I go out in the morning and go to get in my car, it's not a white man that I think is going to jump out the bush and put a gun to my head and try and steal my car. It's a black person. It's that you are your own threat, and I know that's true in every racial demographic. Every racial demographic does kill their own race more than they kill other people, um, but it's disproportionate within the black community, and no one seems to care. Like, in fact, you're actually racist if you even say that. But actually, like, hundreds of people every week, well, not hundreds of, but I'd say on average between 50 and 100 people probably every week, every weekend get shot in Chicago. It's craziness. And no one seems to care about it. But you want to talk about Brianna, like, Brianna Taylor is a tragedy what happened to her. And I don't think that someone selling drugs means it's a death sentence and that you deserve to be killed, or I don't think like that. But to dismiss the boyfriend firing shots at the police, act as if that has no weight in anything whatsoever and just racism is the reason that woman got killed is so basically that's a grifter. That's a grifter. And you like even acknowledged it, but when you acknowledged it, you said, "No, he shot at the police because he thought it was someone else." You don't know that because you weren't there in that moment. But even if that's true, it doesn't matter. So what the police is meant to go? Did you know? And he said they said, "Oh yeah, it's the police." Police always say this to police because if you shout police, there's a far less chance that someone's going to shoot unless they're crazy, right? But anyway, yeah, that's the reaction. Sweet.